Miss Heidi here, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you a recipe for Pikachu Macarons. So macarons can be a little tricky to make, so don't worry if it takes some practice and a couple tries. And all the ingredients that we'll need today will be in the description below. So let's get started. So first we're going to take a large bowl and a sifter. And we're going to sift in our almond flour. So we want to add half a cup plus 2 tablespoons. Half a cup. And 1. And sift this in. And we want to also sift in half a cup of powdered sugar. And sift that in. Right, and now we're left with these chunks, and we don't want these in because we want our mixture to be super fine. And next we're going to go ahead and move this aside. So next we're going to take a hand mixer. And it's important that you use a hand mixer because this is going to give us that frothiness and eventually form into our peaks. So we're going to use our hand mixer to mix up our egg whites and start on a nice low speed and work your way up to medium. And you want to mix these egg whites until they're covered in bubbles on the surface. Right, so they're nice and frothy, covered in bubbles. So we're going to add in our cream of tartar. So we want to add just a pinch. So for a measurement, I would say about half of an eighth of a teaspoon. So just a very little bit. And go ahead and take your hand mixer again and keep mixing until you form peaks. So my mixing took about 3 to 4 minutes and I have my peaks. That means when you pull your mixer out, you have these nice shapes that form. And it's pretty solid, nice and soft peaks. So now we're going to add in some sugar. So we're going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar plus 1 teaspoon. So there's my 1/4 cup. And my 1 teaspoon. Right. And we're going to mix this up for just about 30 seconds. Right. And next, I'm going to add in my food coloring. to make my yellow for my Pikachu, I'm just going to add a little bit of my food coloring in here. Boom. And then we're going to mix it up to form our peaks again. And we want our peaks to be stiff. So my egg mixture is mixed and I have my stiff peaks. When I lift my mixer out, you get these nice peak shapes. That's what you're looking for. And I ended up adding a little bit more food coloring just to get that nice yellow Pikachu color. You can also add a little bit of orange if you want to have a shiny Pikachu color. And now we can move to our next step. So next we're going to take our dry ingredients from before. And we're going to add it inside of our egg mixture. So you want to add it in 2 parts, a little at a time. And carefully mix it. You want to just go in circle motions, holding it in nice and carefully. You want to make sure that you don't over mix your mixture. And it stays nice and fluffy. Okay. And now I'll add in the rest of my mixture. Okay. And carefully mix this in. Again, those nice circle motions. Just make sure everything is nice and mixed together. Great, and there we go. There is our macaroon cookie mixture. So next we want to make sure that our pan is prepared. So I'm going to move this aside for a second. And show you how to make your Pikachu shapes for your cookies. So just to give me a little model for how I want to shape my Pikachu cookies, I used a circle. So I just used this from my cream of tartar and placed it down and drew a circle using a pencil. And then I just drew some Pikachu shaped ears. And then once you have all of your shapes drawn, make sure you have space in between in case your cookies spread out. We're going to flip this over and you can still faintly see your drawing shapes. And that's what you're going to use as a trace to make your cookies. So now you want to take your cookie mixture and we're going to put it inside of a piping bag, and you want to use a medium round piping tip. And I'm also going to have a second smaller bag so that I have some more mixture to make my ear shapes. So I added my mixture to my piping bag with my piping tip. You can also use a Ziploc bag. And now I'm going to pipe out my shapes. So here is my tray. And I'm going to start with my circles and then move to do the decorations of the ears after. So to do that, you want to start in the middle and just make a clean squeeze until you fill up your circle. Like that. So again, start in the middle, make a clean squeeze until you fill up that entire circle and pull up. And go ahead and do the rest of your circles. Make sure you have enough leftover mixture to make your ear shapes. If after you pipe your macaroons, they have a little bit of a peak on top, you can get your finger, a clean finger, a little bit wet, and just poke it down so it's flat. Like that. Now I'm going to try to make my Pikachu ear shapes. So I'm going to try using the same piping tip that I used to make my rounds, but you can also try a smaller piping tip if you'd like. So I'm going to start up here. I'm going to start from my circle and go outwards to create that little ear shape. And you can have fun experimenting with the different heights of the ears or the different ways they turn. Or if you want to make them shorter or longer on one side. And go ahead and do all of your ears. All right, so I did half of my cookies with ears because the other half is going to be the bottom of the cookie. And now we're going to let them sit. But before we let them sit, we want to try to get all of the air bubbles out. So to do that, you can pick up your pan and drop it a few times and get those bubbles out. You can see the bubbles starting to pop. Okay. And if you have any extra little bubbles that you can see, you can also use a toothpick to poke them out. And now we're going to let them rest for about 30 minutes. And while your cookies are sitting, you can preheat your oven to 315 degrees. After your oven has preheated and your cookies have set for 30 minutes, you're going to bake your cookies. So you're going to bake your cookies for about 16 minutes. And you're going to spin your cookies halfway through the bake time. Here are my Pikachu shapes from the oven. A few came out a little better than others. And now while they cool, I'm going to make my buttercream filling. So to make my buttercream, I'm going to add in a 4 cup of butter. And I'm going to melt this. I don't want it to be completely melted, but I want it to be nice and soft so it's easy to mix with my mixer. So I heated my butter up for about 20 seconds, and now I'm going to use my mixer to make it nice and soft and smooth. Next, I'm going to add in some powdered sugar. So I want to add 3/4 cup. 1, 2, 3, plus 2 tablespoons. So 1/2. 2 halves makes 1 half. 2 halves makes 2. And next, I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of milk. So, and I'm going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 1/4, 2/4 makes a half. And I'm going to use my mixer again to mix this all up. And now I have my vanilla buttercream, which is the filling for my macarons. So now I'm going to decorate my Pikachus. And this first one that I made kind of turned out looking more like a Pichu than a Pikachu, but you can have fun experimenting with your decorations and seeing what you can create. So first, to make my Pikachu, I started with my black writing gel, and I made the little ear shape to cover it. And just spread it around. And the same thing on the other ear. And spread it around. Like that. And then I went in to make the eyes. I started off with just a black dot. And then the mouth. I think I'm going to try to make a different mouth for this one, maybe with the mouth open. I'm going to do the little shape. First one looked a little bit like a mustache to me. Do the little shape. And then maybe make the mouth open. Now I'm going to move to my red. And I'm going to fill it in. And Pikachu has those red cheeks. Put those in. And I think I forgot a nose. I'm going to add a little nose here. And then my white dots. To make my white dots, I had a decorating icing, and I just used 2 toothpicks and picked some up and dropped it onto my black circles. It would have been a little easier if I had a white writing gel as well. As I was adding my icing for my eyeballs, we had a little bit of a mishap. I remembered that I have these little teeny white sprinkles. And I can just add these to the eyeball. All right, I think the sprinkles worked pretty good. So now I'm going to put my cookies together. So I'm going to take a bottom portion cookie, and I'm going to add buttercream in the center, and then I'm going to add the top, my Pikachu faces on top. So I take the bottom of my macaron, Add some of my buttercream in the center. Take my Pikachu and squish it on top. And there is my Pikachu macaron. You can see it up close. Pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed this video and have fun decorating your own macarons. Thanks for watching. Bye!